Today is September 23rd. Welcome to this episode of the Lugs Podcast.
Ryan, we're back. Welcome back.
Welcome back, AJ. Glad you and the family survived Hurricane Irma. Like I said, man, last podcast, prayers to everybody down south, man, dealing with them hurricanes. I know they can be crazy at times, especially not knowing the direction that it's going to come.
Yeah, that's why we had to put this podcast on hold the last 2 weeks, because it was such an unpredictable storm and it was so massive. During the week, this was after Darlington, when we were supposed to record our Darlington review show. The storm was showing that it was going to hit Florida, but not hit us directly, so we were waiting because it was still too far out at that point and unpredictable. A couple days went by, but we figured it'd be best to not do the show in case, I needed to get out in a hurry, which comes Saturday morning when we woke up, the eye of the storm was right over our house. So what we had where it was projected to go right over our house. And so at that point, we packed up our bags, and some cousins of ours were nice enough to let us take over their house for the weekend. There was 17 of us, including 5 dogs in that house, but we are very thankful they took us in.
We're all thankful, for sure, definitely, man. I got some relatives down in Florida myself. I got my grandmother lives down in Winter Haven. I think she lives outside of Orlando, if I'm not mistaken. And then I got a buddy of mine from high school that's about 40 miles outside Daytona. And they're all right. It took a while for the power to get back on, but I'm just glad everybody's safe and sound.
Yeah, the power was what caused us to miss, realistically, the week after Richmond, because we didn't get power back on until last Friday afternoon. So that was why we couldn't record the podcast last week. So we've missed a couple weeks here, but you know what? There was no damage to the house. And, we're all safe and sound. That's all that matters. Prayers go out to everyone who was affected more than that out here and affected at all with that. It was a brutal storm. It was big. It didn't hit us at what it was projected to hit us at, which was, I think, a 4 or a 3 at the time. But, and if it did, the destruction would have been times 10. But,
yeah, you told me the other day that there was just a little bit of damage to your house, nothing too catastrophic, though. I seen the pictures. Damage. Yeah. I saw that at your work. That was pretty intense, right there.
Yeah, it ended up ripping up part of the roof where I work. Need a whole new roof, but had some product loss.
So you're getting a suntan. You're getting a suntan now while you work, right?
Yeah, I joke around. I say we have now put a skylight in at work.
Nice.
But so we're back. We're back.
Yeah.
What's going on with you since we've been gone?
Not a whole lot. Just working a lot, enjoying life, man. We've been watching some good racing. I know this is strictly a racing podcast, but I got to do it right now, and I know you're going to laugh at me at this, AJ, but this is to our Michigan boys on the podcast, the Motor City. What was their name? Yeah, that's them, the Lap Traffic Podcast. How about our 2-0 Detroit Lions? And I had to throw that out there.
Oh boy, the team that drives you to drinking.
Yeah, that it does. But other than that, man, we've been watching some good racing. Very interesting few weeks since we've recorded last. Lots of news, lots of notes, and a Twitter war starting between two drivers, which we'll get into that a little later. And I have to vent on that.
Oh, we got a rant session with Ryan coming a little later.
What's that going to be sponsored by? Like,
I don't know. Whatever pill will calm you down. That's what we'll sponsor it by.
We could do something like that. That would work. Let's get to it. Let's get this recap going, man. Yeah, we're excited. I'm excited.
We missed Darlington. We missed Richmond. Richmond won by Kyle Larson, and Darlington. Who was Darlington won by?
Denny Hamlin.
That's
but they
right,
took
Denny
the
Hamlin.
win away. Yeah, but they took the win away because it was cucumbered, as Joey Logano likes to call it.
And then he used the same. I know I'm jumping the gun here a little bit, but then he used the hashtag cucumbered against Keselowski when that whole argument was going. I was like, "What? You've also got to win. Just take it away from that. How could you say anything?"
I don't think you can say anything on that.
Yeah, it was. Oh boy. Anyway, so yeah, Hamlin and Larson won Darlington and Richmond respectively. So now we're in the playoffs.
Oh man, crazy time of year. Final 10. Well, now technically final 9.
Well, 16. Final 16 is where we're at this point.
No, no, I'm talking about races. Final 10
Oh,
races.
wow.
Come on
It's
now.
been a while, man. It's been a while.
That it
Um,
has. That it has. We got to get that groove going.
let's jump into the Truck Series, though, man. Johnny Sauter, the winner, Friday night.
I unfortunately I missed that race.
Come on, man. You got to be
Been
watching these.
working. Yeah, been working early shifts. Been going to bed early, and I totally forgot the truck race was on. So, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna. Can't wait till they're at. Looks like New Hampshire this weekend. Should be a good start to their chase or their playoff.
So you missed the battle between Ryan Truex and Ben Rhodes.
Yeah, I had heard. I had seen it on Facebook. Yeah, exactly. It's what I saw on the Fox Sports 1 Facebook app. They showed some highlights of that. It looked like some good racing there at Chicago.
Yeah, Sauter taking that one away. That was a stolen victory, but regular season champ Christopher Bell. Any shock there?
No, not really. He always has fast trucks. I hate to say it, KBM does bring fast trucks to the track week in and week out when the Truck Series does run.
He's been Mr. Consistency all year.
That he has. I think he might get a shot in the Xfinity here next year, maybe on a full-time basis, because I know he ran a few of them this year.
Yeah, he'll definitely be in the Xfinity Series next year. Kyle Busch will bring somebody up in that Ford truck, and whoever that'll be will be successful one day.
Yeah, exactly. So, AJ, we were talking about the Truck Series. Who's your final four for the Truck Series to go down to Homestead?
So, yeah, Bell, Sauter, Nemechek, Crafton, Briscoe, Cindric, Rhodes, and Gralla.
Gralla. Yeah.
Were the
Daytona winner.
Yes, that's how he got in there. And then a couple of pretty decent finishes there at the end of the year also got him in there. But, yeah, they got in the round of 8 is where we're at now with that. My final four, though, Christopher Bell, Johnny Sauter, Chase Briscoe, and Matt Crafton.
Not a bad four. I got Bell. I'm going to go John Hunter Nemechek, Sauter, and then I'm going to throw Chase Briscoe into the mix.
You know, I wanted to throw John Hunter in there, but the problem with John Hunter is they're not consistent enough in a sense of they don't get the top 10 finishes all the time. And when you come to this point in the year, you really need those. With that being said, you got guys like Crafton and Briscoe that are always in the top 5, top 7 drivers every week. So it's hard to not put them in there over John Hunter.
Very true. And if there is one dark horse in this, I'm going to have to go with Ben Rhodes. I think the kid's due to get a win here. I think he's due to have a good playoff.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's a pain to race with in NASCAR Heat.
Yes, he is. And by the way, kudos to the NASCAR Heat 2 video game makers for the new game this year. Awesome, my career so far. I'm enjoying every second of that.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here. So champion, I have Christopher Bell.
I can't disagree with that, but I told you yesterday via the Facebook Messenger that I'm picking John Hunter Nemechek. I think there's something about the kid. I don't know.
So
like you said, he needs the mobile.
Win it.
Yeah, I'm going underdog. Let's go outside the box.
I hear you. I just in the Truck Series, it's hard to pick an under. I mean, I guess it's not really hard to pick an underdog to win the whole thing, but no one's beating Christopher Bell to me. That truck is set up on a rail every week.
Kudos to NASCAR too for the new rules they got in place for the Xfinity and truck. No Cup drivers over, I think, what was it, 5 years experience? Can't be in these races. Yeah, something like that. But kudos to NASCAR. Let these guys, these young guys, like you mentioned, Christopher Bell, like a Gralla, like a Hunter Nemechek, go out there and make a name for themselves. Get them noticed by the Xfinity Series and even in the Cup level. Yeah, and see where it happens.
I agree with that. Johnny Sauter, he's had his crack at Xfinity, and I think he was in Cup for a little bit too.
Yeah, he was in Cup for a very short time, but it just never worked for him.
He's found his home. He's like, Matt Crafton and all that. They've made themselves a career out of just being in the Truck Series, and that's what's worked for him.
Exactly. And here's another example. Elliott Sadler in the Xfinity series.
Yeah.
He's found a nice home, and even though he's bounced from ride to ride, I think he found a home at Junior Motorsports.
Elliott, though, was fast when he was in the the Winston Cup and then Nextel Cup as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, when he was driving the M&M's car.
Yep.
Yeah,
He was with the M&Ms,
yep.
Robert Yates, and he was with the Wood Brothers, too.
I remember those days watching Elliott run in the
He's
Cup
with
when he
Evercam as
flipped
well.
when he flipped at Talladega in the
Back-to-back
M&M
years.
car. Yep, I remember those quite well.
I'm sure he does, too.
Oh, I'm sure he does too. Elliott's a good old boy, though, that's for sure. Very nice driver.
Speaking of the series that Elliott's in, we go to the Xfinity Series. Justin Allgaier, winner at Chicago.
That's
On a
Junior
race that might I add,
Motorsports.
Eric Jones had won. It had all but one.
Yeah, that he did. I was going back and forth between that and the Michigan football game, and we ended up going out over to a cousin's house. But I saw the results, and I was so happy to see that Allgaier won. It's like when I don't see an Xfinity race, Allgaier wins.
Well, stop watching.
I like watching the Xfinity race. Like I said, especially with these Kyle Busch, Keselowski's, Logano's, Harvick's in these races now. Let the championship come down to these drivers in the series.
That win fell into Allgaier's lap. I don't know if you heard. Eric Jones had just penalty after penalty all day long, with pit road, had issues on pit road. But that last restart, he had a restart violation, had to drop and do a pass-through.
Oh, wow.
The win just fell right into Allgaier's lap.
Nice. Yeah, they were cracking down heavily on pit road this weekend, especially Sunday, which I'm sure we're going to jump into that as well here shortly. But I think, playoff time, I think NASCAR is going to be, this is how we want you guys on pit road. This is how we want the race run. This is how you're going to do it. Or if not, you're going to get a pass-through penalty.
Yeah, I was listening to Door Bumper Cleater today, and they were talking about how it kept being in Section 14 that all the problems are, showed up in, and it's right at the end of pit road, but everyone that was getting nailed in that one section. It's just weird that they would all get nailed in that same section.
That it is, but they're cracking down in the playoffs. I like it. Kudos to NASCAR for that, for stepping in and controlling pit road action.
Yeah, I agree with you. Regular season champ, Elliott Sadler, and he got his trophy that he's been wanting.
Yeah, that he did. I didn't see the picture. Hopefully, it was better than the one Truex took after Richmond.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen that picture.
They handed Elliott a trophy, and it's just ironic because I don't know if you knew. Last year at I think it was the Xfinity Awards or something like that, he was saying how the regular season champ needs a trophy. So how fitting is it that he's the first Xfinity champion that gets a trophy?
Nice, I like that. But yeah, let's take a look at the your 12 into the chase or the playoffs.
Byron,
I keep calling it chase.
The playoffs 1, 2, 3 are Byron, Allgaier, Sadler. So it's
Junior Motorsports. All four junior motorsports drivers made it the chase or the playoffs. Excuse me.
They
Michael
did.
and that 12th.
Yeah, he's what was he? 12th? Yeah, 12th. Playoff standings were Byron, Allgaier, Sadler, Hemrick, Poole, Reed, Clements, Custer, Cook, Tiff, Gone, and Annette. Solid lineup. This is going to be an interesting final 10 races.
That it is. Who do you got in the final four in this one?
My final four. All three of the top JRM cars, Byron, Allgaier, Sadler, and Daniel Hemrick.
I have to agree with. You're going Daniel Hemrick. I am going to go outside the box. I got like you said, the three junior motorsports car. And then I'm going to go with a rookie. I'm going to go with Cole Custer to make that final race at Homestead.
Cole Custer's another consistent guy all year. Luck wasn't always on his side this year, but he's made it.
But they're finding something at Stewart Haas Racing, though, in their Xfinity program. And I like what I'm seeing from this young man.
Yeah, he has not had a bad year at all this year.
Not one bit.
Of him.
That he does. Maybe in the 10 car in the future.
Yeah, possibly. And, it's funny you say that because later on we got the whole news with Danica and all that. Replacements for the 10, I put in there possibly a Cole Custer.
I would consider it. I would strongly consider it. No, not one bit.
But we'll continue in here with the recap, playoff outlook. I got Byron winning the whole thing. I don't. If it's not Elliott Sadler or Justin Allgaier, it's going to be William Byron to me.
I think it's going to be Byron or Allgaier, one of them two kids right there. I'd like to see it be Byron. That's who I'm cheering for. That's who I got my cheering hat on for right there is William Byron. I can't wait till next year when he comes up to the Monster Energy Cup Series.
It's going to be awesome. Already got the tickets for Daytona ready to go.
I got my tickets. When the time comes, I'll be getting them for both Michigan races, for sure.
Yeah, so you got Byron winning the whole thing. Just like
him or Allgaier.
Yeah.
Him or Allgaier.
Yeah, I think Sadler might knock off a couple wins, though, here in this chase. I failed to mention...
they got a...
What's that?
Go ahead. I know they got a different schedule. I know they're not racing Talladega.
Yeah, that's what
in their playoff. Yeah, their schedule's a little bit different.
I failed to mention in the truck recap that their next race is Saturday at New Hampshire.
Yep.
The Xfinity race is Saturday at Kentucky.
I think that's a Saturday evening race, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't just start the playoffs for all three series on the same weekend at the same track.
I've never understood that at all.
Next year, start them all at Richmond. And then, from there on, you can change the schedule where they go. But just at least have them start the same place. Yeah,
because that made no sense this weekend at all for the races to end up.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, for the end of the season at Chicagoland. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Chicagoland, don't get me wrong. But to end the races, the regular season for the Xfinity and the trucks, I don't get it at all. I really just don't get it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that there's... I don't think it's going to be next year because I think the schedule for next year is already set. I would just like to see in the future them make it where they're all on the same weekend to start the playoffs.
Yeah, when the Truck Series, they go Daytona, then they go to Atlanta. When the Cup Series goes out west, the Truck Series doesn't race again until I think it was Martinsville. There's like a 4 or 5 weeks off. Throw racing through there.
They don't want to follow Cup Series due to the costs of traveling across the west, all the way to the West Coast and fielding 2 cars to go over there and then bringing another 2 cars over there. So that's why the truck takes off that 2-week break right there.
Yeah, I just think they could always race somewhere. Maybe go to, I don't know, a track that they haven't been to in a while. Maybe, I can't think of a track off the top of my head. Maybe you could help me out on this one.
I wish they would bring back Rockingham. They did it for a couple of years. They put Rockingham back on the circuit for, I think it was 1 or 2 years. It was awesome.
Rockingham would be awesome for the Truck Series. Maybe North Wilkesboro. Do a short track, something like that.
Man, North Wilkesboro needs so much renovations, but I'd love to see it.
Oh, I miss North Wilkesboro.
Let's move on to the Cup Series, Ryan.
Yeah, let's go.
Truex winning 5th on the year, first chase race, punches his ticket to the next round.
Not surprised.
And he got slimed in the process.
Yeah, I saw that in Victory Lane. My buddy Ryan Guns, I think he listens to the podcast. I'm going to get him to listen to the podcast, but he had his tickets for the Chicago, and he got down to Victory Lane and got a picture on his Facebook page with Truex being slimed. It looked pretty cool, actually, on the uniform.
Yeah, how funny is it that you got this children's sponsor in Nickelodeon, and then you got the Monster Energy girls right next to him? It's like, yeah, let's go.
Too bad they didn't get slimed.
Oh, all right, let's keep this PG.
I'm keeping it PG.
Wow. All right, this show is taking a turn for the worse. Let's just end it here.
We're trying to turn right when we should be turning left.
Yeah.
Let's get back on course here. There's our pit stop for the night.
Yeah. Speaking of pit stops, Truex, man, he bounced back from some tire issues and pit road issues. Comes back to win. Kyle Busch is not so fortunate though.
Oh no, they changed his whole entire pit crew too, just for the playoffs.
Yeah, they swapped Kyle Busch's crew with Daniel Suarez's crew, and yet it still turned into the same pit road struggles that they've been having. And this time it put him 2 laps down, and to me, Kyle Busch had the best car out there this weekend, and he didn't even have a shot to contend because of pit road struggles. So I guess that plan didn't work out for JGR.
And this is my problem with. I understand that you want the best pit crew possible, but before the playoffs or the week right before the playoffs, you can't change your pit crews. You can do it anytime during the regular season until the Richmond race, or now next year it's going to be Indy. Don't change your pit crew until or before that Indy race. I just don't like it. I really don't. Let the guys that get you to the dance take you through the dance.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't see this late in the year changing it. I mean, we're gonna get to it as well. Casey Kane switching to Darian Grubb. It's a change that's come late in the year. He's already
especially during the playoffs.
He's already won with, I forget the name of his crew chief. Forgive me, I do forget. But he already won with him at the Brickyard.
Yeah, the Brickyard 400. Great race too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Chase Elliott had a strong performance though. How about that?
Yeah, until go ahead with this news, AJ, about Chase Elliott. He definitely had his.
Chase Elliott had he had a top 3 car all day. Harvick even said after the race, this kid's a contender.
I like seeing it.
I'm telling you, Ryan, he knocks off the first win, they're just going to start coming to him.
Look at what happened, like we said on our last podcast episode. Look at case in point, Kyle Larson. That first one came, bam, here comes a string of wins right here. Yeah. He's going to be strong to beat in the playoffs. So, but wait till you see my top 4 for the final race at Homestead, and I'll give you my reason why.
Selfishly, though, I don't want Chase to win this year because I want to see him win his first race in the 9. So selfishly, I don't want him to win this year.
Oh, you don't want him to win this year?
No, don't get me wrong. Being that this is the driver who I think I'm going to cheer for next year and for many years to come, I'd love to see him get the first win. But I just want to see him win his first win in the 9 car. It's something that the PETM guys were talking about with the 9 and how it's just so fitting having an Elliott drive a 9 back into victory lane for his first win. The siren going off in Dawsonville.
That'd be so awesome to see.
Yeah, so that's how I see it happen.
I would love to see it happen too. I remember the good old Bill Elliott now, that 9 Ford Thunderbird, man, so dominant cars too. So hopefully Chase can get those dominant cars as well.
Yeah, but the numbers should bring the luck, huh?
Hopefully they do. But yeah, AJ, so here we go. That's the Chase. We already have our first race in it, and the 78 wins at Chicagoland with Elliott winning that second stage. How do you see this Chase playing out, and who is your top 4 to end it up at Homestead?
Chase got that pit road penalty. He got the after race violation, post race inspection with the spoiler. There was something wrong with the spoiler. Something was added to the spoiler that was they deemed to be illegal. I saw that there was a video on it. I didn't watch the video. But it was like they added tape to the spoiler or something like that to give it a little bit more height, maybe.
Really?
But with that being said, by the playoffs were the 78, the 42, the 4, the 2, the 18, the 24, 11, 48, 20, 21, 1, 3. Outside looking in, the 41, the 17, the 5, and the 31. Out of all those, my final 4 would be Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, and Jimmy Johnson.
Wow, you're going to go throw Jimmy Johnson into the final 4.
Chasing 8.
I would like to see it happen, see him chase 8, but I hate saying it. I have to agree with one, Brad Keselowski. This is my final 4. I'm going to go Martin Truex, Kyle Busch, let's go Matt Kenseth in there, and I'll throw Denny Hamlin in there. It is going to be all 4 Toyotas in the final race at Homestead.
I thought you just said Keselowski.
No. I said Brad Keselowski. I have to agree with Brad Keselowski because how he's taking the shot at Toyotas now.
Oh,
I have to agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with what Brad Keselowski said on Twitter.
Keselowski and your 4 didn't even consist of Keselowski.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I would like to see the final 4 be Truex, Larson, Johnson, Keselowski. And if throw Kyle Busch in there too, there's your 4.
No 18.
See who's the best out of the manufacturer. But like I said, I have to agree with what Brad Keselowski is saying on Twitter.
I have
the
to put,
Toyotas. Go ahead.
I just have to put Johnson in there though because this is his time. He's quiet usually during the regular season, but once the playoffs roll around is when he starts getting most of his wins. I just think it's going to be the same way this year. He's got the fastest cars at Hendrick, next to Chase Elliott. He's consistent. He's been here before. This is just his time.
He's got one of his favorite racetracks too. Third race this round in the chase at Dover, where he is the king of Dover.
Yeah. Another track he's good at, Charlotte. You got Martinsville.
Talladega is the key. Talladega is going to be the key, especially with these stage racing now. I think you might see a wreck-filled Talladega.
Talladega makes or breaks drivers every year. I mean, last year, it did it to Chase, and I can't remember who else was in that, but I remember
there was a couple other guys that,
Was Hamlin a part of that?
Everybody was.
Kenseth,
I think he was
part of that.
No, they all the Gibbs cars ran in the back, and that's why they decided to implement these chase or these stage racing, because everybody at Gibbs was just driving in the back because they knew they were safe based on their points to make it through to the next round.
I got you. Yeah, I agree with that. Although I don't like stages still, but I digress.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Kyle Busch had some post-race comments after this whole deal. So, naturally, we talked about how we got the pit road issues. He used the old Belichick line, onto Cincinnati. Changed it up himself.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, well, we'll move on.
New Hampshire. On to New Hampshire. New Hampshire.
So, there he is, being his typical crybaby self.
Yeah, anytime he comes on an interview, I just like to either mute the TV or change the channel.
I gotta give it to him because he's a good driver.
Yeah, he's a great driver.
The way he carries himself, just oh my gosh.
It's I don't know. It's just a bad image.
It's his
to me.
way or no way.
Yeah, exactly. If he's not getting his way, he's crying. He's blaming NASCAR for changing the rules on a restart. Come on, get in the car, drive the car. We all know you can drive the car, or else you wouldn't be in the series. You wouldn't have won a championship after coming back from a broken leg.
Yeah, just wouldn't.
So on and so on. Exactly. But yeah, I just like I said, I'm agreeing with Brad Keselowski. I think it's going to be all 4 Toyotas in the final race at Homestead. They got the most speed. I don't know what they're doing, if they have more downforce, or if there's any other thing that they're doing. I have to agree with Keselowski. There's just something about it that doesn't seem right.
Next race we got coming up, New Hampshire next Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be what is that, a 301, 300 lap race, I think?
Yeah, no, 301 lap. Remember 301?
Yeah. 300, 301, yeah.
Man, remember the times when Jeff Burton used to dominate there?
Yeah, I was a big Jeff Burton fan, especially when he was in the 99 Exide Ford Taurus for Roush.
Oh, the good old days, huh?
Now he's in the broadcast booth, and we won't go into that.
Well, that's all going to change next year with Junior coming in.
I'm excited for that. I can't wait.
Oh, we didn't even go through champion of our chase grid yet. Or playoff grid. I got Kyle Larson winning. I'm taking Larson, going underdog out of my 4.
Truex 78.
I think we already went over that, but
yeah, we may not have.
Yeah, we just didn't mention who our champions were. So mine Larson, yours Truex.
Yeah, I would love to see Larson or Johnson or Keselowski win it. Even Ryan Blaney, I would like to see that, but I don't think they get the speed or anything.
No, it comes down to consistency of cars,
Exactly.
And all that. He won Pocono, Blaney. Blaney wins Pocono. Has a pretty well rest of his year, but now this is where you need to start really winning races in these top teams. JGR, Hendrick, they're going to dominate Penske. They're just going to start dominating it.
Yeah, hopefully Hendrick can come around. I'd like to see the 48 car do it again, but I just don't see it happening this year.
I'd just like to see the 88 get back in victory lane, please.
Hopefully Talladega. Hopefully, I got my fingers crossed for Talladega.
Yeah, if he ends it with Talladega with a win, then all is well with the world.
Or just to run good at Talladega with how they've been running this year.
Yeah.
Taking out in the 500, leading, Kyle Busch blows a tire right there. The Coke Zero 400, running good. Harvick blows a tire. There he is, right into the wall.
Yep. Yep. Let's move into tire rub, Ryan.
All right, tire rub, let's go. Week. Oh boy, here we go with the news. Now, this isn't considered really breaking news, is it?
No,
or is it just our...
It broke news probably about an hour before we started recording.
Oh, that's right. Breaking news.
Casey Kane moving to the Levine Family Racing Team, taking over the 95 for Michael McDowell. With that being said, LFR is staying in alignment with RCR. So they're staying together. Which means all the talk of Kane going to a Hendrick ride are no more. And the talks of Richard Petty going to RCR kind of put to rest here.
That it will, for sure. Yeah, I'm not surprised by the move. I mean, I like Michael McDowell. Yeah. Casey Kane's a name. Can sell merchandise.
Yeah, Kane has always been, that kind of guy. I think
remember
when fits being in the 95.
Yeah, I remember when Kane went to Dodge and how much Dodge merchandise was flying off the shelves.
Kane's best of his career was when he was with Evernham.
Oh, everybody. Look at Jeff Gordon when he was with Evernham. Now look at Casey Kane when he was there.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Bill Elliott ended his career was there.
Terry Labonte, look at the great career Terry had by driving for Hendrick Motorsports. And no, he was never with Evernham. My fault.
Isn't it crazy to think, though, that next year there won't be a number 5 on the track for the first time and since the history of Hendrick opening its doors in NASCAR?
That is absolutely insane.
I mean, we're talking, what, a 30-year history, just about?
I would say, yeah, 30, maybe 35.
I think they just celebrated their 25th anniversary a couple years ago. So this would be the I would think this is close to 30 now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, how many other news do we have there, AJ? It's been a little bit.
I had to write in that one because it happened after I made the show sheet. So first on my list was the Brad Keselowski comments on Twitter about Toyota. And the driver and Toyota response to that made some pretty interesting internet reading. That's for sure.
I even commented on Mr. Brad Keselowski's page about that and basically saying that I have to agree with him 110%. If I could go 200%, 300%, I just agree. I just think you haven't seen it since the 70s, and I don't know if it's what NASCAR is doing. I know, like we said in the past, that Toyota puts a lot of money into the sport, which we are all grateful for. But to get these cars they're just flying by these, like the Stuart Haas cars, man, I'm having a brain fart right now. It's Tuesday. But no, like all these cars, like the Childers cars, the Hendrick cars, Penske, they're just flying by them. They really are. And it's Chicagoland. How much did Truex win that race by? 8 seconds, 9 seconds?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just insane.
I can't say I disagree with what Brad's saying. The last time someone was this dominant, it was Petty when he was with Dodge, and they kicked him out of the sport for a little bit because his car was just so much faster than everybody else's. If you don't, this is some history that I learned. Forgot what I was watching. It was some documentary on it, but Petty actually moved with his Hemi to NHRA, was drag racing and winning there. The sport.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
NASCAR was starting to fail as a company. People weren't coming out to races anymore and whatnot, so they had to invite Petty back so they could keep going. But
yeah, look what happened. He came back, and look at him now, the king of all motorsports, Richard Petty.
Yeah, and when I'm going with Toyota here, Toyota funds the sport. You look at all these different racetracks that have towers named after Toyota. I mean, there's places with towers named after Chevy, Ford, whatever. But if you look around the track, look at how much stuff is sponsored by Toyota. Look at the NASCAR game that just came out. Is sponsored by Toyota. There's only ever Toyota drivers on their cover. Toyota funds the sport.
And look at Richmond on the backstretch. That big inflatable Toyota sign back there. That's Toyota right there. Isn't there a grandstand at or an entrance at Daytona? Toyota entrance.
Toyota injector. But
that's crazy.
Even then, look at the pace cars every week. I'd say it's about
Camrys.
75%, 60, 75% Toyota every week.
I hear you.
Look at all the commercials that air during the race. You get your Chevy and your Ford commercials, but it's dominant Toyota commercials. You don't see, Junior Chevrolet commercials anymore. You don't see, any drivers sponsoring Ford during commercials. It's all Toyota.
Exactly.
I don't like bashing Toyota, and I know I say that, but everyone bashing Brad for what he said that is in relation with Toyota.
That's ridiculous right there.
Because Toyota's been dominant since they came into the sport. Well, since Kyle Busch moved to Joe Gibbs Racing is when they started to become dominant.
And now look at Truex with the affiliation with Gibbs Racing.
Yeah.
Not saying they're doing anything wrong, but their cars are definitely faster.
So Kyle responds with the crying emoji, the laughing crying emoji with STFU. Really? Hamlin did his whole hashtag cucumber rant. Cole Pern asked Brad Keselowski if he was even alive in the 70s. Like, no one is responding with trying to debate him with it. It's just like, whatever. You got to think they kind of know that they're a little bit farther ahead than everybody else. And it's not because they're working any harder than anybody else.
No, not one bit. All these teams are there Monday through Thursday, and they're at the track Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. Jeff Gluck did a little moments thing on Twitter, which kind of like it put in like a timeline of all the tweets. So that's how I got to stay up with it, because I missed it all when it happened live. It all go down. So I had to go back through, and I was just reading it like, this is... Wow! This is stuff that Tony Stewart would have done if he was still racing in the sport. Brad's kind of taking that torch and just speaking his mind and how he thinks things should be.
I'm all for that. Speak your mind. Speak what's on your mind.
Yeah.
Dale Sr. was the same way. He always spoke his mind. Yeah. The guy, DW always spoke his mind. Rusty Wallace spoke his mind.
Now we're in the day and age where social media is king. So if he gets enough people behind him, there you go.
And it was funny, too, during the interview when Kyle won the pole at Chicagoland, they're like, you were 0.3, 0.2 faster than your teammate. And he's like, it must be because I'm a Toyota or something like that. Trying to do a smart aleck comment.
How funny was it that him and Keselowski had to ride in the same truck together?
Oh, I think that was a little state. That was funny. I think they had hey, let's put these guys in the same truck ride together. I think they did that. All playoff drivers were in two trucks together, a truck together around the track, and they so happened to be lined up next to each other.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was about to turn into a WWE match right on the middle of the track.
Oh man! Instead of a TLC match, we're gonna have a throwing the person off the truck match. But yeah, they never made any eye contact with each other. They did the entire ride around, no eye contact whatsoever. Didn't even acknowledge each other.
Yeah, I agree with if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it, I guess.
Amen to that.
Moving on a little bit, we're going to get away from this Toyota talk. Darian Grubb, crew chief of the 5, like we mentioned earlier, for the remainder of the season / playoffs. Now, I wouldn't call it a bad move. I'd call it a good move. Darian Grubb's been here before. He won a championship with Stewart.
I think there may be something more down the line in place for Grubb to go into that position. Maybe crew chief Byron.
That's exactly where I was getting at with that. I think they might keep him around to be with Byron, and if that's the case, that's good, because now you're getting him acclimated to Hendrick and all that. and how the teams operate, the Monday through Sunday scheduling with Hendrick. This could work out well.
I'm all for it. But yeah, like I said though, I'm all for it. Let's see what happens. Get Byron up there. Let's see what the kid can do.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I have to think about this. Who gets their first win? Byron or Chase? Who gets it first?
You could throw Alex Bowman into that mix too as well.
But who gets the first win out of say those three drivers? Who gets their win first? Their first win first?
I have to go with Chase Elliott.
I would too. It's easy to say Byron because of the success he's been having in Xfinity this year. But when it comes down to it, I think Chase is more than knocking on the door. He's about to pound the thing down.
You could throw Bowman in there because he had great success with Ives as his crew chief. Those two got a chemistry.
Bowman and Ives do have that chemistry, but now you got to think Bowman's taking the year off, and we see what type of year juniors have after taking a year off. Most of a year off.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. This year he's having so.
Hey, as a junior fan, I'm. You got to support him, and
I'm always supporting him.
Bashing Ives all year, and you know what? He's not in the playoffs. Let's just enjoy these last races. I'm stopping with the whole bashing thing, and like I was gonna say earlier, listening to Door Bumper Clear today. Brett Griffin went off on a rant about this. He's tired of seeing people bash Junior and the crew. It's his final year. Start enjoying it.
Amen to that. Enjoy it. Yeah, it sucked during the beginning of the year. Like, the cars weren't good enough. He's running in the back, the 20s, and not even up near the top 10, not even competing.
The man
it was hard to watch.
In his almost 20-year career, has gone through so much scrutiny and has been under such a big spotlight. Why bash him now?
There's no need to. No need to. Like you said, let's enjoy these last. Let's enjoy these last 9 races now. Let's enjoy it. Look at him winning multiple Daytona 500s. Yeah, he never won a championship, but multiple race wins. I got to see him win in person. I think you have too. It was awesome to see him win.
Ryan, Dale Jr. Hall of Famer, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. I think he wins it for the sheer fact of winning 2 Daytona 500s and being most popular driver how many times in a row now? He's got to be in there.
I've lost count.
As much to the chagrin of every other junior hater out there.
Speaking of popular driver contests, did you see what Noah Gregson's doing to become the most popular truck driver?
He's got like a little video campaign out.
Yeah, he's got a video campaign on, and I was watching Race Hub. They got Logano, they got Kozlowski, Shannon Spake, and Adam Alexander, and they play this video. It's him dancing to he's rapping too, and it was one of the more funnier things I think I've seen in a while. And he's trying to dance too. He had a guy with a shark head come walking by, a stuffed animal shark head walk by. I was laughing, and afterwards they asked Kozlowski and Logano, well, what are you going to do to become most popular driver since the 88 retired? And they both stopped and they looked. They're like, oh, we can win that award now.
Who's the most popular driver next year? Who's it gonna
Kyle
be?
Larson. Kyle Larson.
It's either going to be the 5, the 24, or the 9.
I'd laugh if it's the 88.
The 2 in there.
I'd laugh if it's the 88.
Yeah, it'd be funny. Got a little off track here.
Yeah, a little bit.
We're just going to move on a little bit here. This is all stuff that kind of happened in the weeks that we missed. 77 ceasing operations after this season. They've sold the charter.
I'm surprised Kenseth didn't get that ride.
That's the thing about it. What if Kenseth goes without a ride?
I would actually be I'd be shocked. I really would be absolutely
what rides
shocked.
Left?
That not many. Maybe the 41. We know the 10.
The 10's
which
open.
We're going to get.
The 41's
yeah, the 10's
open.
going to.
Well,
yep.
The 41 is open, but it's not open because Stuart Haas says that they're more than welcome to having Busch back, and that's a mess over there. But the rides are becoming little scarce.
Maybe they can add more, another team come through into the ranks. Like we just talked about their second podcast. Maybe Junior Motorsports funds a cup team, puts Kansas in that ride.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Now, Junior would have to remove affiliation in a way with Hendrick, because I think Hendrick owns part of JRM.
Yes, he does.
There's a rule in place where he couldn't do that because that would be an infraction on whatever rule is put in place that says that you can't field more than 4 cars.
Yeah.
Because then if a JRM car comes in, then it's technically Hendrick fielding a 5th car. So they couldn't do that. But I could see Junior doing that. And GMS said that their plans aren't to bring a Cup Series team in next year. Maybe Kenseth takes a year off, goes to TV, maybe?
Maybe goes to the Xfinity Series, too.
Yeah, that's another possibility. There's a couple rides open there at JRM.
Yeah, with the Byron moving up. Who's going to ride the 9 car next year?
I thought they
There's an open...
I thought they announced who was going to ride that, actually.
Oh, I haven't heard anything.
It was either Reddick, Cindric, or Briscoe. It was one of the former BKR guys.
Oh, Tyler Reddick. Yeah, I heard he signed with... I totally forgot about that.
Broken Bow Records.
Uh-huh. I wonder, like we said, where's Kansas going to go? That baffles me. That really does, if he doesn't get a ride next year.
He's a former Cup champion. How does he not get a ride?
He's a Hall of Famer, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's for sure. Last thing I got on here for news, Danica Patrick not returned to Stewart-Haas Racing. Smithfield is moving to Stewart-Haas Racing. Where does Danica go? Who fills the 10?
I think she stays retired. I really do. I think she wants it. I think she loves the sport. I don't think anybody's going to open up a ride for her. Me, personally, I think she's going to go back to the IndyCar series.
I could see that happening. She definitely wants to be in Cup Series racing. She wants to be in the sport of NASCAR. But I just don't see a ride being there for her.
I really don't either.
She's a great moneymaker.
That she is.
I
heard something. She's got a clothing line out too, so she can fall back on that too as well.
Yeah, there is no shortage of money. That's for sure.
No, not at all. Not at all. Hey, especially if Stenhouse keeps winning races.
Yeah. So Smithfield to Stewart-Haas, to me, means Eric Almirola is going with Smithfield. But a couple other guys. Bubba Wallace
gets in the petty ride.
Bubba Wallace might be going to the 43.
I would be for that. Bubba, man, nice guy, great race car driver too. It's a shame that he lost his ride at Roush Fenway in the Xfinity program this year, but comes in the truck, wins a race. I didn't, like I said, missed a Xfinity race, but he was in it last weekend at Chicago.
Yeah. Bubba's a guy that I could see taking over that 43. Now, there is a lack of sponsorship with the 43, so that might, stall things a little bit. But I see Bubba going to the 43 next year.
He ran good in it this year.
The 10. But another curious case is Cole Custer.
Yeah, we can put Cole in the 10 car, maybe 41.
Yeah, because if you think about it, there is kind of 2 spots open. We do that 41 is a question mark, but let's just consider it open.
I personally think they're going to let Custer stay another year in the Xfinity series and then bring him up. Maybe sign a veteran. Maybe a Matt Kenseth to a 1-year deal to ride in that 41 car. Maybe re-sign Kurt Busch to a 1-year deal.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
This is like a game of blackjack. You don't know the cards we're going to get dealt here. That's for sure.
Silly season is starting to crank up a little bit.
That it is.
We had no hashtag AskLog questions this week.
So hold on, AJ. Hey, Scott, do you have a question to ask Lugs, our podcast?
Ryan's brother Scott, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my brother just said that they're reworking Kurt Busch's contract because he was making too much money. So
Yeah,
he will still be in that ride.
Either Kenseth or Kurt have to take less money to get a ride next year.
That's just it's what they've been saying. I don't know if you've been noticing. Every time I watch a race on NBC, it's either Letard or Burton. They're always bringing up these young guns like a Larson, Kyle Busch. I guess you can still consider him young. Ryan Blaney's of the world. Everybody they're talking about these young guns, and they keep talking about Kenseth and where he's going to go. I would be shocked if he doesn't get a ride. I really
too young around Kenseth.
It could be. But it could be.
You know, Kenseth by no means is a Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson is about to be the oldest one in the sport if you don't count Derek Cope.
I thought he retired after the thing that happened at Richmond because Mr. 78 was not too pleased with him riding on the track when he was leading.
78 gets pissed with every lap car that gets in his way.
That he does. Oh well, I think a lot of leaders get like that. Okay, yeah, I'm a lap and a half away from winning. Oh yeah, I'm a lap and a half away from winning this race, securing my chase or spot in the playoffs. Well, for Truex, he was already in it anyway.
Yeah. What I was getting at though, hashtag #AskLugs. There was no questions this week. Get those in using the hashtag #AskLugs. Let's go to social media. Shoutouts and updates.
Oh,
we are up to 40
go.
followers on Twitter, 69 downloads on Podbean, and 55 likes on Facebook. And after this episode records, we get to start working on getting this on iTunes because we're up to 3 episodes recorded.
We're going to be on iTunes?
Yeah, you need 3 episodes in order to start uploading to iTunes. This being our 3rd episode, we'll be able to get it on iTunes.
Well, AJ, you know what this is to me?
What's that?
Breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news.
And I didn't even know about it. How about that? Be on iTunes.
With that being said...
Everybody, thank you for listening, for liking us on Twitter, Facebook, everything. Keep it up, man. We definitely appreciate it.
This has honestly gotten bigger than I thought it would. With that being said, I got to thank the guys over at Lap Traffic and PTM Podcast for getting the name out there, shouting us out a lot on Twitter throughout the last couple weeks. We really appreciate that. It's helping out a lot. So yes, go check them out on Twitter, Podbean, iTunes. They're all great. Funny. I don't miss a week of them. They're awesome to listen to. And follow us on Twitter, @Lugs Podcast, hashtag #AskLugs, hashtag LugsPod. Like us on Facebook. I was about to say follow us on Facebook, but you like us on Facebook with the Loose Lugs Podcast. Subscribe to us on Podbean, the Loose Lugs Podcast, and eventually iTunes when I figure out how to get that all set up. And
that iTunes is you. That iTunes is going to be all you.
The iTunes is going to help out a lot, I think.
I think so too. Hey, thank you, iTunes. More people
use iTunes.
Yeah, I do believe so too. Thank you, iTunes.
Yeah. Let's get to our shout-outs. We have Nicole at Blaney_Elliott is an Earnhardt and Chase fan.
All right.
The Bump and Run podcast at the BNR Podcast, another good podcast that you all should go check out. Along with the podcasts that we have, we're giving shout-outs to Barstool Crew Chief at BS Crew Chief PC. Boy, I think we found a lot of ourselves to be Barstool and keyboard crew chiefs throughout the weeks.
Nice.
That's it for shout-outs. Let's move on to the white flag. Predictions for New Hampshire.
Predictions for New Hampshire. I would like to see the 42. I'd like to see Larson. I'm going to go with the 42 this weekend at New Hampshire.
And your dark horse pick?
My dark horse, let's go to the 21 this weekend.
Dark horse of 21.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been dreading this
all
day. I've been dreading my pick all day because I've honestly given it since last night who I want to win this weekend or who I'm picking to win this weekend. Ooh. I think it's hard to not go the 18 of Kyle Busch after last week, so I'm going to take him as my winner.
All right.
My dark horse, going with back-to-back us doing this show, picking a first-time winner. 24, Chase Elliott, getting that first win Sunday.
Here's a question I have for you, AJ. Will any of the playoff contenders have problems at New Hampshire? If So then who?
Stenhouse. Last week hurt
I
him.
have, yeah, last week hurt. I have to see the 5 car this weekend.
Yeah, the 5 car. My bottom 4 here were Newman, Kane, Stenhouse, and shoot, where did I put it? I put it somewhere here.
Nice.
I had McMurray missing. I had Stenhouse missing. I had Kane, and I had Newman missing.
Honestly, you had Dylan advancing to the next round, eh?
Yeah, I do.
How far do you have him going?
Top 15, mostly. Every week he's up there in top 15 if something doesn't happen on pit road or whatever.
Yeah.
What was your question?
I forgot.
Till next week, ladies and gentlemen, where we will have episode 4 for you following New Hampshire. We are signing off for this one. Ryan, hit him with it.
And we will see you all at the track.
All right, y'all take care. Have a good one.
Enjoy.